trying to get this joint started. Yo, 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 yo. Alright, cool. We are here. We are here. And we are... And let me go ahead and turn off this music too here in just a second too, so I can get that shit going too. Cause I am not trying to get copyrighted, you know what I'm saying? And they are fucking going ham with this music, dog. And I'm gonna turn this joint down. Bet. And we are here. And we're gonna wait for some people to get in here. You know what I mean? And we're gonna wait for some people. Shit, my shit loud that motherfucker, bro. Yo, I got 2 people that just joined the stream. Yo. Oh shit, what's up, Road? What's up, Road? You still streaming, brother? Because I didn't want to make sure I didn't knock off your stream or anything. Oh yeah, you're still streaming. You're good. But we got 2 people in here. Make sure y'all drop a like when y'all come in. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get into definitely a lot of topics today. Definitely gonna go over Darren Till and that Stephen Thompson fight. I haven't been live in a minute. Definitely just because of like personal shit. You know, of course, all you guys know, expecting my child, stuff like that. But we're gonna talk about this fight and basically, was Wonderboy robbed? Who knows? We will get into that, but I'd like to hear y'all opinion, definitely on that fight. But in my opinion, definitely with everything that took place in that fight, people who don't know the sport of MMA, which entitles a lot of different, things that are in that realm of sport. It's about it's a lot of different things, man. It's about, do we have cage control, which I think Till had that throughout the whole fight. What about definitely the bigger strikes? Till did when the official stats came out, he outstrike Wonderboy. And I just think for Wonderboy, that was definitely, I think we saw a different Wonderboy that night against Till. For the longest time, if you watch the sport of MMA, you definitely know that Wonderboy is the gatekeeper, man. He is the gatekeeper. He is, he's been number 1 for a while. And so for that, that was a tough fight going in for Till, especially coming from the number 8 ranked spot to go ahead and fight Stephen Wonderboy. In my opinion, that whole fight was wonderful. That fight was a masterful performance by Darren Till. Definitely that's showing how he is not just, he's very relatively young in the sport. He definitely has tendencies to be very more explosive, very powerful, and definitely in that case, what happens with that is that he comes out, he starts fast, he starts hot, and I think that that's what really confused Wonderboy, simply based off of the fact that, you're expecting this guy to come out guns blazing, man. You're expecting him to come out and take your head off. So he was planning for that, staying on that back foot, waiting to attack, and I think that was his ultimate downfall, because what happened was that it just came down to who was the more aggressive, and that happened to be Till. Thompson was sitting back waiting for the perfect strike, and it just never came, because what both of them do exceptionally well is they master range. Range is a thing that they are both great at, and I found it to be definitely Thompson's kryptonite. I think Till made the right game plan to come out and fight his fight. Definitely in the future, what I see for Till He is sitting right now from the rankings that were released. RDA moved. No, 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 no. I know Till is number 2. I think RDA went to number 1, and to where Wonderboy dropped to number 3, which is not bad. Definitely not bad, especially for the controversial decision between Till and Wonderboy. But what I see next for Till definitely is that I see maybe a fight with him missing weight. I think he should probably fight somebody like the likes of like a Kamaru Usman. I think that would be a great fight, Usman, or he should probably, if he can make weight, he can get the winner between Colby Covington and RDA, and you know, that interim title to go ahead and fight Tyron Woodley. You know, we definitely want the best, you know, overall fighter to fight for that title. You know, I would definitely say in this sport it's easy to get, I wouldn't say lucky, but definitely, you know, there's some times to where, you know, fights could play out and they're not really going to the best man. So I think that with this, they're going to try to find the best man for this, and I feel like Till, he would either get a title eliminator fight with Usman, or he would go ahead and he could fight somebody like like the winner of that RDA and Covington fight. And I think that that would be a great, you know, stepping stone for him. And recently, I know I haven't been live in a while, but recently I had somebody message me and ask me how would I see the fight between Till and Woodley go. Quite frankly, you saw the way that Woodley obliterated Steve and Wonderboy, man, and I believe simply just off of the fact that if not Wonderboy, but if, you know, Tyron Woodley can get in there, be aggressive, he definitely can take out Till. But I think the difference between him and Wonderboy is that Till has that switch. You know, if you know anything about Wonderboy, Wonderboy is definitely a point fighter. He is a counter fighter. He is a karate specialist. That's what they, you know, that's what they are specialized in. They would like to see that opening to where they can land one of those kicks, they can land strikes, and they can do a lot of different things. And I think that that worked out, because from what really happened was that Till was able to diagnose that and make adjustments off of that. And so I think that with definitely with Woodley, it's going to pose a greater fight than with Wonderboy and Woodley. And quite frankly, how I see that fight going, I don't see it going the full rounds. I really don't. I kind of see either Woodley getting a finish, or I could see Till getting the finish. I don't see neither one of them honestly letting that go to a decision. I just don't see it. But, you know, things are definitely subject to change, but I quite frankly see definitely I would have to swing towards Till in that fight against, you know, definitely against Woodley. I think in that case it's gonna be a crazy fight, and I just think Till might edge him out for being the bigger guy. As long as he can make weight, I feel like Till could be a force to be reckoned with in the welterweight division. So now we're gonna go down to bantamweight, and we're gonna take a look at Marlon Morales versus Jimmy Rivera, and which was a masterful performance, definitely by Marlon Morales, dude. I in all of my time of watching MMA, I have never, ever, even participating in, personally with myself, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and different things, I have never seen a switch kick with that much precision. And I will explain why. Because from Marlon Morales, what he was doing, he came out, he fights orthodox, which means his right hand is his power hand, and he leads with his left hand. And basically all that happened was, it was so quick to where he baited that and threw that kick and was able to calculate. Rivera was not able to get his hands up in time, and he caught the brunt of that kick. And once that landed, Rivera was down. Definitely Rivera was down. And he seemed like he had a little bit of composure on that ground. But it just definitely was not enough. And Marlon Morales was able to edge out that victory over a tough opponent with Jimmy Rivera, man. Jimmy Rivera is a very tough son of a gun, man. Jimmy Rivera has been a bantamweight, and he has been one of the most explosive bantamweights that I've seen personally. And I'm a personal fan of Jimmy Rivera. Marlon Morales, he was a I forgot what organization he came out from. I don't know if it was Strikeforce or K1, but he was a champion for those guys, and rightfully so. From watching what we seen, definitely he took advantage with 33 seconds in the round to throw that perfect switch kick, and it landed so flush. Jimmy Rivera didn't see it coming, and by the time he did, his hand was definitely not up high enough to catch that, and he went night-night. So in that fight, Jimmy Rivera was ranked number 4. Marlon Morales was ranked number 5. Now where I see this going, with Marlon Morales, man, he has been very explosive in his last few fights that I think gives him the nod. Definitely with the fight between Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw, that I would like to see Marlon Morales get the winner out of those guys. And I think that it's well deserved, especially with the knee that he's done to Aljamain Sterling to knock him out with perfect timing, and the switch kick to Jimmy Rivera. I see great things for Marlon Morales, and I think that he would pose a great fight with either TJ Dillashaw or Cody Garbrandt with addressing that fight. What's up, Berkeley? What's going on, brother? How you doing, bro? Bro, I just been everywhere, man. Definitely, I just had to get some shit in order, man. You know, of course, having a kid, all types of things, man. So I just been kind of preoccupied, man, sitting in the background. You know, haven't been doing too much stuff. So, but yeah, man, I appreciate you for following through the stream, bro. Of course, man. But definitely with that fight between TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt, I honestly, Marlon Morales really deserves the winner throughout those two. I think he poses a really good threat in the bantamweight division, man. He's been there before. He's fought those 5-round fights. He knows, excuse me, especially what it takes, you know, to be the best, and what he needs to do in order to be the best. And I think that he will get that shot definitely with the winner between TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt. In that case, I quite feel like Marlon Morales, there's no words to explain what he did, honestly. It was 33 seconds into the first round, and it was so quick and so fast that you really could not see it coming. It was really nice. Now with this fight, definitely between TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt, man. TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt. That is one of the fights that would be taking place. I believe is on the 225 card with Romero and Whitaker's rematch. So TJ definitely coming in for his title defense against Cody Garbrandt. Quite frankly, that fight, I don't know really how that fight plays out, honestly. Just simply because, and I made a mistake. That fight will be UFC 226. International Fight Week with Daniel Cormier and Stipe, which we will get into a little bit later too as well. But definitely with this fight for 226 with TJ Dillashaw and Cody Garbrandt, I see this fight going the same exact way, man. TJ Dillashaw lost a controversial decision, man, to Dominic Cruz, man, and quite frankly, that decision was one of the decisions I didn't agree with. I hated that decision because I felt like definitely TJ had the better of Dominic Cruz in that fight, and they gave Dominic Cruz the nod, and so Cody Garbrandt came in and fought Dominic Cruz, and everybody was like, "Oh, Cody Garbrandt's this, Cody Garbrandt's that. He's 11-0. He's gonna kill TJ. He's gonna kill TJ." And you know, first round, definitely Cody Garbrandt has hand power, man. Cody Garbrandt has hand power. You know, there's nothing that you can say about that. Cody Garbrandt has those hands, man. But definitely in that fight, I see TJ Dillashaw outsmarting him again. Definitely with the first round, Cody Garbrandt caught him, but TJ Dillashaw came in the second round and boom, landed a head kick. Just like that. It was done. It was done. So I'm not deviating from that. I see TJ making that leap and honestly putting him in a body bag, man. But I feel like I skipped one, so we're going to go to this, man. We're going to go Robert Whittaker versus Yoel Romero, definitely UFC 225. This next event coming up on June 9th. Definitely my predictions. I have Robert Whittaker taking that fight. And definitely we'll explain why. With the first fight between Yoel Romero and Robert Whittaker, Robert Whittaker beat him by unanimous decision. Romero came out strong, and that's the thing about Romero, is that he'll come out strong, man. He's a fierce fighter. You know, he's a fierce fighter early in the rounds, man. And basically, it was just that he got gassed out. Robert Whittaker came in the third round, and he made it happen, man. He won those third rounds to win by unanimous decision. But what a lot of people don't talk about with this fight between Robert Whittaker and Yoel Romero is that Robert Whittaker blew out his left knee in the first round of that fight with an oblique kick. He blew out his knee with an oblique kick. And I think, quite frankly, with a healthy knee, and what's up, DeAndre Hopkins? What's up, bro? Yeah, man, it has, bro. I just been gone for a while, man. But definitely I see Robert Whittaker taking this rematch with Yoel Romero. He beat him with a blown out knee, and I definitely see a repeat with Robert Whittaker being able to stop him with healthy knees. That will be a great fight. And also a 225 fight that I'm not really interested in. A lot of people are, though, but I'm not really, you know, that happy about it because I feel like it's very undeserved. But we're going to talk about RDA versus Colby Covington, definitely in this fight in UFC 225. This fight, I can tell you right now, I see it going one way and one way only, and that's the RDA way. Colby Covington talked himself into a championship fight, honestly. RDA did all the hard work. RDA came out and starched Robbie Lawler. RDA came out and starched every opponent in his way to deserve his interim title shot, while Colby Covington talked for his. He beat, the only person that he's beat was Damian Maia, which is not hard. You know, of course, Tyron Woodley, he did it. Colby Covington, yeah, he beat him. But also, you know, he beat him after coming off of that loss from Tyron Woodley and a loss from others. And so you're getting an old, slow down Damian Maia. And he's happy about that. But really where it came from was that with him definitely beating Damian Maia, that whole Brazil shit is what really got him this title shot, man. Because now you're fighting another Brazilian with RDA. a Brazilian that's probably going to kick your ass, because RDA is not a walk in the park, man. RDA, he was fighting in lightweight, moved to welterweight, and hasn't looked back since, man. And I think that definitely with this fight, Colby Covington doesn't stand a chance. You're not going to be able to wrestle with RDA. You're not going to be able to stand up with RDA. You're not going to be able to do a lot of things, man. And I just feel like that this title shot definitely was not deserved, man. This title shot definitely was not deserved. I think that that was one of the horrible decisions to make Covington that guy. And especially now in the rankings that it goes this way. It's RDA number 1, Till number 2, Thompson number 3, and Covington number 4. And Usman dropped to 5. I think Usman is more deserving of that interim title shot than Covington is, man. And Covington just trash talked his way into a title shot, man. There's a lot of things, man, that, in this sport, honestly, if you want to be honest about this sport and this whole sport as a whole, MMA business, man, it's all about that name. It's all about being that guy, man. It's all about being the one with your name out there, man, making the most splashes, dude. And that's what he was trying to do. And quite frankly, I don't respect it. But, people were, making a big deal of it. But quite frankly, I see RDA knockout second round versus Colby Covington, and see how that one goes, man. I just, quite frankly, I think that he trash talked his way into a title shot, man, and it's not well deserved. But definitely the last fight that I want to talk about, and hear me out, guys, because I'm not trying to prolong my content to go over multiple events, but also, like, a lot of you guys know, definitely, you guys know, man, that I'm expecting a kid. I'm not going to be around for this, man, and I quite frankly, I just really want to enjoy all of this, man, definitely just to talk about this stuff any chance that I get. So I really appreciate the fact that you guys are definitely excited and definitely here watching, man, and it's very great, man. But next fight we're going to talk about is the main event in International Fight Week, UFC 226 in Las Vegas in the MGM Grand. If I'm not mistaken, it's the MGM Grand. We have Stipe versus DC. This will be a little bit longer than the other ones because there's multiple situations that I want to bring out in this fight. And if you've noticed a repetitive thing, I pick the fighters who I think are going to win. And I have Stipe winning this fight. And because the reason why I say that is because DC is not a striker. He's not somebody that will stand up and bang with you, which Stipe, he has those hands, man. He can knock you out. You saw what he's done to Fabricio. You've seen that what he's done to plenty of people, man. And I think that these hands are going to be too much. But everybody's like, oh, well, DC has this unmatched, like, wrestling. He has wrestling. Stipe is a wrestler, too. Stipe has all the tools to beat DC. He has the length, he has the height, he has the reach advantage, he has the power advantage, he has the strength to stop takedowns from DC. He has these tools, and I think that they're going to be overwhelming for DC, and I think that he's going to put that second loss on DC's record. And definitely why I said this would be a little bit longer is because there's levels to this, man. There's plenty of levels to this. And with me watching the UFC, and I watch Strikeforce, KS1. I watch a lot of shit, man. I watch a lot of shit. And I've noticed recent trends that are just a thing, and I think that definitely with this, what's going to happen is this is going to set up a match between, if Stipe wins, then it's going to set up this match between John Jones and Stipe, the only two men to ever beat DC. And DC is no slouch, bro. DC is definitely no slouch, man. DC is a high-level competitor, one of the greatest of all time at light heavyweight. Personally, in my opinion, is he the greatest of all time? Hell no, because I like John Jones better. That's just me being biased. But definitely, DC is undeniably that man, you know? DC has the tools, man, to you know, be that guy. But against Stipe, I just think, man, that's the baddest man on the planet, and I don't think that he has necessarily the tools to beat a Stipe. And the only way that I see DC honestly getting the win is by decision. I don't see him getting a victory. I don't see him really out grappling Stipe. I don't really see him you know, making you know, I don't really see him making that leap to really beat a Stipe, man. And exactly, Brandon, Stipe is just so well-rounded, man, that you can't really, you know, there's not really a weak point in his game to where you can be like, oh, like, yeah, like, if he does this to Stipe, man, he's gonna kill him. There's nothing that you could really say to be like, oh, man, yeah, he's gonna kill Stipe, man. There is nothing. So, in my opinion, I have Stipe winning that. But what that's going to set up, man, and what a lot of people don't realize is that that's going to set up a match between Stipe and John Jones. And what does that do for the MMA community? A Stipe and John Jones. They're already trying to plan a Stipe and Brock Lesnar, which, for John, that's, I would say that's a walk in the park, because John Jones' ground game is really unmatched, man. And I think with John Jones versus Brock, I see John Jones winning that. And then going against Stipe, I honestly, man, that fight, I don't even want to think of that fight now until it happens, man. Honestly, because John Jones is my favorite fighter, man, of all time. Definitely Stipe. I respect Stipe so much, though. So it's not like I'm disrespecting Stipe. Quite frankly, I have that fight as a toss-up between Stipe and John Jones. I have that fight as a toss-up. And I think I would have my answer for who should win that match after International Fight Week. I think I would have my answer for that fight, of who would win that, depending on how good Stipe looks against DC. But I expect Stipe to look real good versus DC. I don't see a point where DC could win that match. If he does, awesome. And if he wins that heavyweight title, man, then that makes DC one of the greatest of all time, because you're holding a light heavyweight belt and you're holding a heavyweight belt. I think that, quite frankly, makes him one of the greatest of all time. But I don't see him getting it done against Stipe, in my opinion. How I see that fight going, I see Stipe with a knockout in the 3rd round. I think it'll be a TKO. I think that it will basically, Stipe will catch him with one of his hooks, or definitely maybe something along the lines of maybe a jab straight combination. Stipe is a very excellent boxer. I could see that happening, and him knocking out DC in the 3rd round, or dropping him and you know, punching him out for the TKO. But basically what would happen with that is that you would set up that fight between him and John Jones, and especially we don't know the outcome of John Jones's hearing yet. Definitely with him and USADA, with him and his Tyranno ball against DC, turning that fight into a no contest. But dude, it was just bullshit, because the knock on that is that the Tyranno ball that was in that is not even enough to give you any slight performance enhancing. Like there's no performing enhancement with that microscopic amount of Tyrannoball, man. And quite frankly, how I see that, John Jones won that fight in my opinion, man. But that was set up a match between him and Stipe, and in that fight, I don't have a prediction for that fight, but I would definitely say that would be the best fight of the year, greatest fight of the year, man. There's no question about it. That's the best fight of the year, in my opinion. So, you know, we'll see how that definitely goes. But I want to get the fuck up, because I do not want to fight DC right here. Come on, get your bitch ass up. Get up. No. Get off me. So basically, but that's quite frankly how I see it, man. I don't really see I would just say that definitely Stipe has the tools to win this match, and I think that him and DC, they're gonna put on a great show, man. It's gonna be a great show. But Stipe, he's gonna have his 4th title defense, and he's gonna keep prolonging that record, man, as long as he can, until, you know, there's somebody that can outmatch him, man, which I don't really see happening, man. But if somebody can outmatch Stipe, then we'll see what happens. But definitely, I saw Ngannou. I thought Ngannou was gonna win that match against Stipe, but I knew he wouldn't win if he got past that 2nd round. Honestly, and in the first 2 rounds, Ngannou would knock you out. If you get past that, Stipe has that win, and that's exactly what happened. So I think, honestly, I'm not really biased about it, but if you give Ngannou, you know, stamina and at least a microscopic, you know, difference in, you know, grappling, and he was a little better at grappling, then I would say that you would have an animal on your hands, and there's no reason why he wouldn't be the heavyweight champion of the world, man. If he could out-wrestle Stipe, because I know he can outstrike Stipe, I know that. And we saw that was clearly evident in the fight, simply because Stipe was just holding him down. He didn't really want those punches, and the few punches that he did land, man, he welted Stipe's face the fuck up, man. He welted his face the fuck up. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He fucked him up. But Stipe got the win. He held him down. He drained him out. He made him tired. And that's what makes great UFC fighters different from these UFC fighters that, you know, cool, like, yeah, they get the knockout, man. They get that 1st round ender. How long you think that's going to last till they come into a real professional like Stipe that is really able and smart enough to shut everything that you're trying to do down, man? You know, it's you have those fighters, man. You definitely have those fighters, and I think that every champion in every division, like every champion in every division, and that's going from Rose Namajunas, Amanda Nunes, all the way to Demetrius Johnson, TJ Dillashaw. You can keep going, man. You got fucking Khabib at lightweight. You got Tyron at welter. You got Robert Whittaker at middleweight. And you got fucking DC at light heavyweight. And then you got Stipe at heavyweight, and all those guys are champions for a reason, man. Simply because they can outsmart you, they can outclass you, they know what you're gonna do, and that's just that. Now, I had somebody ask me, is DC the real champ, man? In my opinion, yes, DC is the real champ, because, quite frankly, you know, as much as I'm a John Jones fan, John Jones wasn't able to keep his shit together. You know, let's be real here. You know, John Jones wasn't able to keep his shit together, man. And so DC, he capitalized off that. And he's have not lost a fight since that John Jones fight. And I think that's what makes him, you know, deserving of that, you know, that title. He beat Gustafsson. You know, he beat Teixeira. He's beat all those guys in that light heavyweight division to be, you know, known as the light heavyweight champion. But in my opinion, he is the real champ at this point until John Jones comes back and he wants to reclaim his title. So you know, who knows? Who knows? Who knows how this plays out, man? But I think that quite frankly, what's gonna happen, Stipe. Well, let's just review everything, man, for all these events, man. UFC 225, you got Whitaker and Romero, where I've said Whitaker will win. I have RDA over Colby Covington. And then in UFC 226, I have Dillashaw over Garbrandt, and I definitely have Stipe over DC. If anybody disagrees with those, I would like to hear your opinion on that, because definitely, I won't say I have all the answers, guys, but I just kind of want to know what y'all's opinion would be on it, and how y'all feel about that, honestly, because in my opinion can be different from a lot of other people's opinion, and I don't really, it's kind of crazy, man. But also what we have is, some more great fights too as well. Definitely Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega at UFC 226. Like, that right there, that fight, honestly, man, is going to be I can't even tell you what that's gonna be like. Dude, and this is so hard for me, man, because I am one of the hugest Max Holloway fans. I'm one of the biggest Max Holloway fans. With this pick, you probably won't tell, but I am one of the biggest Max Holloway fans. Definitely, he is one of the best featherweight fighters, in my opinion. And that's definitely going to be a thing, You got Brian Ortega versus Max Holloway. And I'm going to tell you how this fight will play out, man. I quite frankly, MMG KE23. Yeah, probably after I'm done with the stream, brother, we can always fight. But how I see this fight coming out, man, especially with Ortega's knockout victory over Frankie Edgar, man, that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. But how I see that going, man, is that definitely what's gonna happen is that one thing that I see Max Holloway really uncomfortable with is the ground, which you have a Gracie black belt, and one of the best, one of literally his best students, man. I have never seen anybody like Brian Ortega, man, especially in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world, man. Definitely, I've studied Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man, and I've never seen a guy that's that good, that well-rounded, and like he can literally choke you out in any full guard, half guard. He can choke you out in top mount. He can choke you out in full guard. He can choke you out in side control, man. He can choke you out, and he can do a lot of things, man. And I think that's what really makes him, that he's gonna be Max Holloway's kryptonite. Granted, don't take everything that I say to heart, man. But definitely, I could definitely see Brian Ortega getting the submission victory over Max Holloway, because simply what's not gonna happen is that he's not gonna knock out Max Holloway. I could tell you that right now. Max Holloway has the chin of 50 Kimbo slices put together. Max Holloway is not a scrub, and by any means. So what I'm quite frankly worried about, though, is that what's really gonna happen here is basically I just see Ortega realizing the fact that he's not going to be able to really do what he's trying to do with striking wise. Definitely, but I do see him taking it to the ground and getting that submission win, because I just don't feel Max Holloway really has that ground game to really compete with that. And I think that once Brian Ortega gets him to the ground, he's going to keep him there. That's my biggest thing, is especially because you really, that's going to be even crazier, man, because if you're going to do that, he's going to keep him there, and he's not going to let him get up. His jiu-jitsu is too outmatched. There's no way. So I see this fight going in favor of Brian Ortega, and I think that he will progress to 15-0. I think that imagine Khabib in a lightweight body. Like, imagine that. Imagine a Khabib Nurmagomedov who can keep you on the ground and maul you there. Except he's a featherweight and he can fucking choke you out. You know, that's that was my fault. But you know, that's what I really see from him. You know, I don't really see. That's kind of how I envision. You know, I like, that's really how I envision him. You know, I definitely see him, you know, as that type of character. You know, of course, he came off that win from Frankie Edgar, man, but still, you know, with the knockout. But I just look at him as a submission specialist, but it's like a Khabib, like he's like a Khabib style, but on the ground he doesn't maul you. He just submits you and choke you out, man. So you know, that's a little tough, man. It's a little tough, but I definitely see Ortega edging that one out in this fight against Max Holloway, in my opinion. Now, the last fight that I want to talk about on this card is Francis Ngannou versus Houston's own Derek Lewis. Now, of course, my channel is revolved around Houston sports. I'm from Houston. I'm from Mo City, Houston. And I am the biggest supporter of Houston sports, different things. But how I see this fight going, unfortunately, I don't see Houston's own Derek Lewis pulling it out, and I'm gonna tell you why. I will definitely tell you why. There's plenty of reasons why, and the reason why I've saved this for last. Ngannou has power of I have no clue in his hands, man. He has power. With Derek Lewis, one thing that he lacks, honestly, is that he lacks stamina more than Ngannou does. And I think especially with what he was doing after that Miocic fight against Stipe, I think Ngannou got in the lab and started working, man. And I think that he got in. He's improving his cardio. He's not going to be, you know, that big star shit's not going to get to his head, because against Stipe, with 2 fights left to the fight, he decides to go to, I think it was Cameroon, man. And, you know, especially in a fight with the heavyweight championship, you're not supposed to be doing that, man. You're supposed to be there and you're supposed to be focused. But I think that one thing Ngannou has is that he has that mentality, man. He has that immigrant mentality, man. And I heard this on a JRE podcast. Shout out to Joe Rogan. I love his podcast. But definitely I've seen that, and he kept using that word. He was like, immigrant mentality. And I'm like, you know, I didn't really get it at first, but I started studying Ngannou with that fight. My first actual fight of watching Ngannou was against Overeem, man. And that was the knockout that sent Overeem into orbit. Like literally, it literally lift him off his feet. A uppercut that lifted him off of his feet, man. That's crazy. But I see Ngannou, he's very accurate with his strikes. He's very, and he has so much power in his strikes that I don't really think that anybody could really just, do that. And I don't see Derek Lewis doing it neither, unfortunately, because his stamina is bad. His stand-up is great. His stand-up is great, and everything that he like I said, he's a Houston homer. So even in like Hurricane Harvey, he was out there, with his truck helping people. But with and like I said, I'm a Houston homer, man. I love anything Houston related. But this that ain't gonna be it, brother. So I just quite feel like that he will definitely probably get tired out. He'll get gassed. It's gonna be a brawling first round. It's gonna be a crazy first round. But if it gets out of that second round, Ngannou's gonna handle that in the second round, 'cause I think he'll definitely have more stamina. And if not, Ngannou doesn't catch him in the first round, because that's also, Ngannou has a chin on him, bro. Ngannou definitely has a chin, and I've seen that firsthand. He takes punches on the chin, man. Don't complain about him. Doesn't cringe, doesn't flinch. He takes them. He'll try to block them. He doesn't flinch, but he has a really good chin, better than Derek Lewis in my opinion. And I just, quite frankly, I just see that fight going in Ngannou's direction. And I just see Ngannou probably getting the second round KO, if not the first round KO. So we're gonna see how that goes, man. But definitely, those are my predictions for all of the fights. I see that's how I see that going. But definitely, man, I really appreciate you guys for stopping by, man. Definitely, coming by. Showing love to the stream, showing love to me. Definitely, you guys have, some of you guys are new, some of you guys have been here since day one, man, and I really appreciate all that. Definitely, I think I might be able to get out another live stream today, probably going over, like, the text and stuff, the usual stuff, back to the basics for my original fans and stuff like that. But definitely, we will get into that. But like I said, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all the love and support, man. And until next time, I really appreciate you guys, man. So you guys really have a great day. Enjoy your day. And, I mean, that's pretty much about it, fellas. But until then, man, y'all have a good day, bruh. And I will catch y'all later. Peace. Need to turn this off. Man, hold on.